Good morning, afternoon, and evening. Welcome back to the Liberal Artist Podcast. I am your temporary hostess with the mostest, Kaylee Horowitz. And here with me, we have Andy Gibby Gibson.
And I'm just full of hostess, mostly Twinkies, but a couple ding-dongs just for fun.
You heard it here first, folks.
There's nothing that we like better on the Liberal Artists than stuff that kinda tastes a little oily and a little filmy and very chemically.
You know, I was about to go on a Cosmic Brownies tangent, but you know what? How many things can we classify under those particular criteria?
I think it's fair to say that Cosmic Brownies count as that, but
for sure.
Good? Like,
wow.
Look, I'm somebody that tried my hardest to like Twinkies and to really enjoy all of like what Hostess has the mostest of. But Lil Debbie just like walks up to Mr. Hostess and takes his head and puts it in the fucking dirt. I don't know what to tell you, man.
Lil Debbie and Big Deborah at it again.
We cannot be the 20,000th podcast that just copies the McElroys and goes on a Big Debbie rant.
It's just funny, though, but yes, you're right. We could try to be at least a little more original. Describe this Mr. Hostess to me, because now I'm curious.
Is that like our bend to it? Is that like the way that we're going?
You said, Little Debbie,
yes.
Dunks Mr. Hostess's face in the, who is Mr. Hostess? Because there's a fun irony in that name.
I think, that is funny. I didn't even think about that. But I think Mr. Hostess is just a Twinkie in a suit, like with.
It's a twink. It's a twink in a suit.
In a way, in a cosmic sort of way. But I'd like to think that like he still has appendages, like hands that are made out of Twinkies and whatnot.
Oh, it's like the thumbs from Spy Kids, but all Twinkies.
Consider the thumbs, but even more of an affront to God, and you've got what I'm like throwing out here. But I want to say it's just a blank face, kind of like a thumb, made out of that like oily sponge cake and the frosting that makes you regret some of the choices that have led to this decision. And I'd like to think that he like vaguely gestures to stuff, but you can only tell through his body language what he's actually feeling.
This is a more of a puppet than a character at that point. You're puppeteering this Sona rather than there's actually a mascot face character sort of thing.
Yes. Unfortunately, somebody will have to be inside of the suit for the major motion picture release of this, which means they will essentially take Evangelion, but instead of like all the orange fluid, it's just the cream of the Twinkie that they've submerged themselves in that they're moving through.
Shinji, get in the Twinkie!
Christ, this is what happens when Bo's not here.
We've gone on for like 2 minutes with this bit, and we haven't even addressed the elephant in the room or the fact that Bo isn't in the room. Bo's not here.
Bo is not here, which means that the two terror twins are out to cause chaos and just general shenanigans for the next approximately 54 minutes or so.
We're thing 1 and thing 2 being let loose in the house.
There is
and
no
Bo's
cat
not
in the
even
hat.
the cat. I was gonna say, Bo's not even the cat in the hat in this instance. Bo's the fucking fish.
Yeah,
tries to keep order and then just sort of looks at us and goes, "What the hell's wrong with you two?"
There's a cosmic balance to it all, that like he is the law and order and we are the manifestations of chaos, and when the fish is not in the bowl, all you're going to have is a house that your mom is going to be quite crass about, that she has to come back to. We never actually got to see the mom in The Cat in the Hat.
What's she doing all day?
I don't know.
That's what I want to know. How long is this woman gone?
Not only that,
how
the
quickly
weather's shitty.
Right. Like, what are you doing? Like, you can't take your kids out to run some fucking errands? Like,
look, man, they won't stay in the cart. I don't know what to tell you.
The number of times I got dragged out to Sam's Club because my dad had to go on a supply run for the clinic.
Yes.
I became very familiar with big box stores at a young age.
They are kind of like our version of parks when you live in that level of suburbia. Like the urban sprawl of the big box store and the surrounding
Mm,
concrete, not even jungle, because that's more
no,
of a city thing, but
it's
just
the
like
highway, the concrete jungle highway.
very that where it's like it's distant enough that you're not allowed to bring like additional entertainment, but it's long
Yeah.
enough that you'll get bored quite easily.
Mm-hmm.
I remember this exact feeling of being like in a Home Depot and just kind of messing around with plywood for a while, just like kind of checking out how like the plywood wiggles when you get like a really
Wobble,
long.
wobble, 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 wobble.
You know what? Let your children be bored and play in Home Depot again.
Here, here. I, dude, the Home Depot that we went to had a 7-Eleven
Mhm.
right next to it. Like it was Home Depot in the parking lot, and you cut around the corner, and there's a 7-Eleven, and we'd have to get gas. And sometimes if you just ask very nicely
Mhm.
enough, or plead or beg or do a little bit of whining, sometimes we could get that 7-Eleven Slurpee. But if we couldn't, then across the street was a McDonald's. And that was also the like gamble of like, okay, what do I think we could get away with today? Saying, well, we've been out and lunch was so long ago, or, but I was super good, so can I get a Coca-Cola icy?
Ah, I see. I'm just trying to like put it in. I'm trying to step into your dad's shoes right here and think about like the mental exhaustion this poor man was going through of supplying like his own veterinary clinic and then just
Mm-hmm.
having two little shits in the back seat
I
who
was
are
to say,
just
especially
ready
during the
to
summer
go
when
crazy.
like, yeah, we were when my dad had the man van. Both of my parents had minivans.
I love that they had to
And
gender the vans just to feel a little bit more
I think
secure
I just
about
sort of did. Well, he never did. I think I just sort of did later because it was funny that when one of my like best friends that I made in college also
Mm,
used to drive around a van, I was
yeah.
like, what is this sensation in the universe? This doesn't feel like a typical occurrence. No, long story short, there were fewer places growing up, and I know that's a universal experience, is that like, well, can't we just get McDonald's? We have food at home kind of thing. But my dad was always one of those people. He'd make several cups of coffee a day, but he would always make them at home. So it was never we never did the like, yeah, let's go to McDonald's and then he'd just order a black coffee and drive off. Like you've
Ah,
seen that bit where kids are like, "Oh yeah, can we go? Can we go?" Yeah, sure.
I was on the internet in 2015. I'm well aware.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, as many of us have come to understand as we progress through adulthood, we do have food at home.
I don't want to eat any of it,
Yeah,
but we
I
do
know,
have
but it's
food.
there, and McDonald's is like $17 now, so we're gonna eat at home, god damn it.
I guess.
Sorry to disappoint you. Would it help if we talked about a silly little K-pop movie?
Yeah, we can have a silly little cartoon as a treat.
Maybe McDonald's will have the toy and the Happy Meal for it.
Yippee! Derpy toy!
What's the name of the movie, Kaylee?
It's Cake Pop Demon Hunters. Sorry, K-pop Demon Hunters.
That was almost right.
It's very funny how that's like been the toddlerification, like when children demand this movie be played on streaming over
Yes.
and over again because they can. It's Cake Pop Demon Hunters,
Mm.
which I can't wait for the Food Network spin-off cooking competition show, you know?
I'm not going to pretend like I'm above any of this because I have several cake pops that's in my refrigerator right now. So
I love a good cake pop. I know we dunked on Starbucks for a while because of them, but they're good.
I make mine at home. They're organic, actually.
Oh, I did do that. Oh my God, unrelated. We did that for a Christmas party, and oh Lord, even the small amount of like peppermint extract we were trying to use for our like candy cane ones we tried to do, chocolate candy cane, It was so much peppermint. It was peppermint up your ass, like too strong.
That's the
But
tagline for this
anyway,
movie, if
that's
you
the
were unaware.
tagline. Peppermint up the ass. No. This is K-pop Demon Hunters. You know it. And if you don't know it, I'm sure you've heard it. It just sort of blew up over last summer
Hmm.
and then did not release its chokehold in the contemporary American media landscape for not just animation fans, but for children, especially
Yeah.
under the ages of 10.
Yeah. It's a combination of like kind of the perfect formula for like a kids movie slash
Yeah.
like young adult media, but also like perfect enough to capture the attention of, I'd say, like the 20 somethings in your life, which,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm looking at my calendar correctly here, this is the last episode where you will be one of those 20 somethings. We gotta like milk this proper like audience synchronicity as long as we can, and by that I
I'm
mean
gonna wake up
this episode.
on Saturday and become a bug a la Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka.
Look, I
That's
hit
what's
30.
gonna happen to me.
I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm,
Hmm.
I'm fine. Anyways, K-pop Demon Hunters. You want to give us a synopsis of that?
K-pop girl group slays,
Mm-hmm.
both literally and metaphorically.
Mm.
The end.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the short, condensed version of the summary. Just the short version of the summary is, yes, we have our leading K-pop trio, a group that is known as Huntrix, composed of Zoe, Rumi, and Mira, who are all like, you know, choreographed, you know, on stage, of course, but the sort of assembly of K-pop, J-pop groups where it's that each one is their own archetype sort of thing. So Mira's the cool one who's too cool for school, very tough girl.
Yeah.
Zoe is the bubbly, the cute, the, you know, she's American, but she's also South Korean. And so that sort of personality bubbles through. She's really fucking good at rapping too. I love that they were just like, and that's also her thing.
Yeah.
She's a lyricist and she raps.
They decided not to give that to like the tough one of the group. They gave it to like the soft one of the group, which is
I love that. Great choice. And then Rumi, who is the sort of like legacy, like not like perfect girl stereotype. She's trying to be, which is a big point of, you know, contention for oh goodness, for Hello, Maggie Kang, one of the writers of the movie, originator of this story, wanting to look at that like South Korean like perfectionism as a trope, especially for K-pop and like sort of celebrity figures. Rumi is the daughter of you know, someone who was previously in a K-pop band in the like 80s 90s. I think it's implied that her mom was the lead singer in a girl group, and so she's like legacy protege, trying to uphold the weight of the world on her shoulders, and finds out, you know, not like normal teenage girl things or 20-something girl things, but actually all of them are all fighting demons with their music. That's the premise of the movie, is that the force that keeps demons and evil energy at bay, the Honmoon, must be sealed with the power of like music and that sort of emotional, spiritual energy connection. And, you know, there's these hallmark signs of demons that they are, you know, trying to blend in, but they're not great at it. They have these patterns that appear, and that's how you can identify them. And oh shit, Rumi has patterns. She's half demon, and she can't tell her friends, and her mentor has just told her to suppress it and hide it.
Exactly. Like, the concept of this is explained very quickly within, you know, like the first couple of minutes of it. And it is like, at first, it does feel kind of like high concept in that there's a lot that's kind of getting layered in here, in that, like, with our world building, there are demons. Where do they live? Kind of hell. Uh,
hell.
what sep-
Kind of, yeah.
what separates us from them? The Honmoon. How does the Honmoon get created and sealed? Through the power of song connecting to the spirits of the
Hmm.
people of South Korea. And it gets strengthened through that, through the generations. Well, who's the one that actually secures it? Well, it's typically three women who are trained in the arts of war and song. All that is like layered on top of each other, and I think it does a good balance of not ever like pulling one too many like
Hmm.
blocks out of the Jenga tower, where it's like
No.
it's impressive that it's able to like condense all of that information quickly and to make it reasonable for like a fantasy premise because
Yeah, like within the first, like our first minute is getting that flashback to like sort of ancient South Korea and sort of one of these first trios performing exactly that, like singing that seals demons away, and you see how it's working. So here's that first level of it.
Mhm.
We then immediately title card and then jump to, we're getting these like fans, like it's a news interview going to fans for a Huntrix concert, a Huntrix concert that's closing like their big world tour that they've just done. And I'm like, oh, this is such an organic, great way to get all the information about these characters.
Yeah.
Of like, here's fans talking about who their stan is and why they're their favorite and whatever. We're getting the background information from the fans. It's such a great device. And then we're being like, oh, so where are the girls? Here they are on their jet that's like running late. And oh no, it's been hijacked by demons. How it's done is such a great drop us into the vibe
Mhm.
and just what they're about and how it's done. I love this sequence so much. I think it's the best song in the whole goddamn movie. But we drop into high energy. It's banging. It's a time. Rumi's hitting these insane notes. It's great. It's so cool. And then immediately we kind of take a moment to, collect. We're actually going to drop a new single, Golden. And that's the song where we get the final piece of like information layered on
Mhm.
top. Is Rumi going? We see her like, song-a-logging basically, and see the patterns, and we go, oh no.
Yeah.
But like, this is basically all the first 15 minutes, and you've been able to digest each piece of information and then let it build on top of itself, that you're cutting through to that high concept reasonably quickly and without having it feel just like super overwhelming with
Yeah.
each moment.
Like it's got the balance of it being this sort of like action driven movie, but it's also a musical in some sense with like the way
Mm-hmm.
that it's structured, with like having the music act as like exposition of like how the characters are feeling, but also how the characters like balance with this world, like the
Mm-hmm.
airplane fight with how it's done, uh being able to showcase like their skills in combat and then later like their skills as like performers, those two
Yeah.
sides to like what they do, like
It's Hannah Montana,
yeah,
but with like what, Xena Warrior Princess, basically.
like in some ways, and I'm not going to make too many comparisons to this because I know like the two cultures are quite different from the way that like they do storytelling and everything. It in some ways you might think at first it's kind of like a Sailor Moon thing where it's like
Yeah.
this is the double life that we're living. But I think what makes it so different and why it succeeds is it is such an authentically Korean movie for
Yeah.
its stylings, for all of the ways that like it showcases different elements of culture and everything. Like somebody who's like less familiar would just be like, "Oh, it's anime." And it's like, "Well, no, like stylistically you see stuff that's like much more akin to like manhwa versus like manga, you know?" And
Yeah.
if I get pronunciations wrong in this, please don't flay me and like put my head on a stake or anything like that. I've spoken of my constant fear of the Swifties burning down my house. The K-pop stands out there are a cosmic level threat compared to the Swifties. I know the power that
Yeah.
they have. and it lingers within the back of my psyche all the time. Anyways, like,
They wield too much power, immense amounts of power that are terrifying.
but just like the things that the girls do, like in their downtime, when they're basically just having a pre-concert mukbang, or when they're going to like the bathhouses,
Couch,
and
couch,
everything.
couch, 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 couch.
Yeah, like everything from like the little details of like all the skincare that they do and everything. Like all of that is just so like authentic to the culture, which I think is what makes it so unique and strong. Because like we've had a lot more exposure to South Korean culture over the last 10 years than like we've ever had before.
Yeah.
But it feels like this is one of the first animated movies that's really broken through and captured that.
Yes.
And it's got more focus on that than, let's say, something like Squid Game.
Yeah. Like, it's Korean, and like that's part of just our sort of like America has slowly been allowing itself to be interested in more international media and or just like, footing the bill for work that is focused on more international, like, mood, location, style, storytelling, whatever it is. But exactly that. Squid Game is Korean media, but it's not like about South Korea. It's about a lot of things, but it's not necessarily like.
I think where I'm trying to get is that like it kind of feels like one of the media properties that's really broken through that has like a positive look at it.
For sure.
In that I compare it to something like Parasite, where Parasite is a really like cynical look at Korean society. And like both, Squid Game and Parasite are very focused on like capitalism and the economic structure and the economic disparity. This is not that movie.
No. There's some things to be, examined and some fun nuance about what this film says, about there's readings of queerness in this film, neurodivergence, just the general plot of like, shame and acceptance being the bigger themes of this movie. But there's things to be read into it for sure. For as just cute and bubble, like surface level bubbly that it is, there's a lot that you could put on top of this as well. Like when we were, you mentioned like high concept. It's that deceptively simple, like, it's about this. But if you sit there and look at it a little longer, it can be about a lot of other things. Or it already is, but isn't trying to overstate what those ideas are.
Yeah. Like, let's dive into that, and we can start kind of more at surface level. At the core, this is Rumi's story. Obviously, we have our other two members of the band, in Mira and in Zoe, but this story is centered around both Rumi as well as Jinu, who is
my boy,
who is kind of like her contemporary in a rival boy band, except for the fact that he is also a demon who has been in the demon spot for, hundreds of years. And their stories are both centered around shame. Rumi's is around shame that she cannot control and must hide. Jinu's story is about shame that he caused and cannot redeem.
Yeah. Which it's very serious, and it means a lot, like, for these character arcs. But I have to back it up just a hot second to the fact that, again, you want to talk about just like how like this movie will gut punch you, but then precede it with a silly little joke.
Yeah.
Rumi is having difficulty hiding sort of that demonic side of herself.
Yeah.
Demons, meanwhile, Gima is the sort of demon king entity, trying to continue to seep into the real world, the living world. Jinu approaches him, sort of going, "I've got an idea." Demon boy band. They all go, "What?" And it's literally just one little fucking like pose, and he's like, "Oh yeah, no, that could work."
No, yeah.
It's so silly for them to just cut to the chase like that, and then like that's just how we get dropped into the main conflict of this is Rumi feeling frustrated and conflicted about her own self. They're trying to seal the Honmoon, to make it gold, to be like, we're done, we've done it, we've stopped all the demons from coming in. Is like we're trying to get to this final push, and then here to come in and fuck it all up is the Sasha boys. And of course, you know, not only are they seeping the attention of the fans, but literally their energy.
Yeah.
Which talk about some fun
souls.
commentary. Soda Pop is such a great song. It's such a like musically wonderful, just K-pop song. Thematically, it's delightful. Of just it's about being consumable. It is about being replaceable and just so in the moment satisfying, but not like long term. It's so commercial. It's chef's kiss writing. Which I will say, we haven't mentioned any of the songwriting. Definitely, we have the movies directed by Maggie Kang and Chris Applehans. I keep going to say Applehouse. Applehans. They're also part of the writing team. And then the music production is what Marcelo Zarvos, but EJ, who is a Korean like singer-songwriter, is the singing voice of Rumi, was a major player in the writing of these songs. And like, oh my god. I know this woman's been getting her flowers, but she deserves so many more.
Give her the whole flower shop.
Please give her the whole flower shop. Soda Pop is like the perfect example of just the like, it's smart writing all the way around. The lyrics, the beat, the vibes, it's all there.
Yeah.
It's so good.
What you're saying is supportive of why I think this thing that is so high concept works, is because it is deeply authentic, like not just to like representations of the culture, but also kind of deconstructing K-pop as a genre and an industry, you know?
Yeah.
And the reason that they got there is because they went to the source. They're going to people that are involved in that industry and saying, hey, you write songs, you're part of this, you perform in this. Come on, let's go do
Come
this
on
thing.
down.
Exactly. So like with the core of the story here, like we've talked a lot about the set pieces. If we're diving like more into like themes and readings of this, I'd like the way that they weave this backstory for Rumi into her story about shame and eventual acceptance, in that her father was a demon. Never met the guy. God,
Nope.
hey, you know, the Saja boys are all hot, so there's got to be at least a couple hot demons there.
Oh no, he's hot.
Look, I get it. I get it. We've all played Baldur's Gate. There's hot demons out there. But
True.
anyways, she's kept this hidden away for so long, in part because her mentors told her to keep it down for so long. And so much of her motivation to rush this and to finish it, you know, seal the deal. They just got done with the world tour, and she's like, hey, you've been on the couch for 5 minutes, let's go finish this, is driven by her desire to finish her story, because she thinks that her redemption is going to come from finishing their quest rather than dealing with like her own history and lore and everything.
It'll be
like
an
that.
external thing that fulfills her or completes or rectifies or saves.
The classic
her
wants versus needs when it comes to storytelling. And I think it's really interesting that these demon marks that are all over her and are starting to affect her physically, partly like why she's like so modest and like never goes to the bathhouse or like never dresses in basically anything but like a turtleneck. I think it's so interesting that that's the reason, rather than just general like burnout or like wear and tear on the body. Like the marks have like tattooed her and affected her physiologically to the point where it's affecting her voice. Like I thought that was so clever, and that like is mixing in like you're at the final stage but you can't do it because this, Like, you can't finish it because you're not complete.
That mental block, but like manifested through something else.
Mm-hmm.
Just fantastical enough. Like, I love the way that it doesn't feel like it's just an arbitrary problem.
Yeah.
You know, where it's that like, oh, of course a character has to overcome this.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like okay, yeah, this is integral to this character, but we are kind of left wondering how is she supposed to overcome it? Like, is it going to have to actually be that, or, you know, because it's not like you can really change that about yourself.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like you're cursed. You were just literally born with this. So then what do you do?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, she just doubles down on that external factor, going, we have to stop the Saja boys.
Exactly.
I'm gonna kill them.
He's too hot. He must die.
We're gonna play stupid, silly little game show games with them, and then I'm gonna murder them.
But with that, we get her connection with Genu, because we can tell from pretty early on that he's not just going to be like standard villain, like in the way or anything. Like, just from his entrance alone, I was like, oh, that guy's gonna try to overthrow the Demon King. Like, Kima, watch your ass, dude. You don't. You're just a big like pile of fire, so you don't really have an ass, but metaphorically.
Metaphorical fire ass.
Yeah.
Yes.
And like, Rumi can't fix the problem until she understands more about the problem, but she can't understand more about the problem from her mentor, because her mentor's just like, just shut the fuck up. Just do the thing. Why can't you do the thing? Well, Celine, I can't do the thing. Well, why can't you? Just go do the thing. And that's why like she's driven to this guy who reaches out to her and is like, I know stuff that you don't know. Let's talk about it. And they've got the butting of heads and everything to get to that point where she's willing to like open up just a little bit, but they start to learn from each other. And I think they do a really good job of like giving us his side of the story and like half of the story.
Yeah.
Only to later like reveal more about it. And
like, we kind of do a little bit of liar revealed.
A little bit.
But like, it's not. And I think it's honestly more in the way that Rumi takes it.
Yeah.
Because it's less about liar revealed where everybody has put their full or like nearly blind trust in the person who turns out to be a phony. Whereas this is about her learning to trust and sort of, again, going, I've always thought demons were like XYZ, demons are horrible, demons are this.
Yeah. Sort
of her becoming more, someone beginning to know Genu through their interactions. When the other shoe sort of drops about his backstory, it's a betrayal, but it's more of just like but I still see that there's something in you trying to redeem and save yourself from that. Like, yeah, you didn't tell me the whole truth, but that doesn't mean what you've been doing doesn't count for something.
Yeah. And it's less that it's liar revealed, it's like partial truth,
Yeah.
And it's not something that gets revealed to her by the Demon King or anything, and she goes,
No.
I trusted you. It's nothing along those lines. It's like dramatic irony. Like, we get to see all of it, because when he pops back to hell and he's like, damn, just pulled a fast one on all the demons. I'm going to get my redemption. She's going to get hers. Everything's cool. And then you get the Demon King twisting the knife more to say, hey,
don't do it.
You didn't give the full context, and that makes you an asshole.
Yeah.
And I think that's a better way to go about it. And then
For sure.
there's really not a lot of like contact between Rumi and Genu, like as we're like breaking from, act 2 to act 3 and everything,
No, because truly, I think where we get the most of that liar reveal just ends up being with Huntrix and finding out Rumi's secret. because over the course of the movie, as we're doing this whole, we've got to beat the Saja boys. It's between Huntrix and Saja for the top spot of, top song of the week and whatever. They're trying to get to, top idol awards coming up soon. And so it's them going back and forth, and they plan to write this song called Takedown. That's the entendre of they're also gonna kill these fucking demons.
Yeah.
And that sequence of Takedown, when Rumi is like, I didn't think we were still doing this. Like they we're doing the stage show. We're doing it live.
Yeah.
And that gets filtered in. And of course, it's the demons that are toying with her. It's the rest of the Saja boys.
That was very clever. I liked that.
But it's so cool for them to be playing Rumi or playing Mira and Zoe to Rumi.
Mm-hmm.
And then yet she still runs into the actual Zoe and Mira.
Yeah.
Like in patterns out and secrets out, and they still don't know actually if they can trust her.
Yeah.
One, if they can trust her if it is Rumi, but then two, still that level of like, there's demons shape-shifting and doing weird shit. I don't even know if this is you, fam. Like, it's so good creating that believable. Of course she has to run away. Of course she has to go have her lowest hour right now. Like, again, the setups, you don't think they're actually going to pay off that way in a way that matters, and then they do. And it makes sense, and it's smart, and it's like, yeah, of course a character would do that under these circumstances. We're not making dumb decisions for no reason here.
Yeah, it's very much like the main character saying, I can fix this, without like actually having the power to, and they push it to the exact point where it's like, there's basically no point of like returning here unless you're actually open and honest about the problem, which like is something we get to like with Act 3, which now that I think about it, we do have the confrontation between Rumi and Genu, like in, the backstage area and everything.
Yeah.
So I was just circling back to be like, yeah, they didn't interact. Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did.
No, they did. Like, they interact. They tease each other a little bit through Act 2.
Yeah.
Of like, again, also another just anecdote of how well these people know fans and fandom and K-pop culture is the joint signing session and the immediate weird fangirl that's like,
yeah,
you guys are dating,
ship it,
right?
ship it.
I ship it. Your secret is safe with me.
Which,
like, it's so good.
I'm glad that they don't pursue like that as part of like the plot and everything.
But I wanted them to.
Yeah,
I wanted it so bad.
I know you wanted them to, but like I think it's stronger without that, because it leaves enough like for it to be like questionable from like the outsider perspective with her bandmates, but like not so much that like it feels obvious,
No, we're not hijacking the story about like, girl power and acceptance and love from other places. We're not hijacking that story into a romance plot.
Yeah.
But god damn it, Free is so good.
Just go on DeviantArt. Just like just go on Tumblr. You'll find what you want. You don't need that.
Damn it.
I should have.
I will say, Free is one of the weaker. Like, it's a beautiful song in the chorus. It's not my favorite in the movie.
Yeah,
but the sequence is gorgeous. Across the board. I don't think I've said this specifically, so let me say it now. The animation of this movie is gorgeous. This is Sony kicking absolute ass in all the ways that you expect them to when they're doing like an anime, like style lifted sort of movie about like K-pop and Korean media. It's incredibly beautiful to watch.
Yeah, like the blocking of like the action sequences is the choreography of that is great. But not even like only the fights. It's also like the angles and the blocking of like dance sequences and like how they capture, like think about like the golden music video that they drop. Like that is like peak K-pop music videos. And I know I'm not like an expert, but like I can I know when it's like the shining example of something, when it's like the prototypical, like emblematic example of its like kind of genre and everything.
Yeah. Like
Like,
you might not be able to point out all the specific
mhm,
references, but you can recognize the
yeah,
package in which it's presented and go, oh yeah, exactly like this.
exactly. Like it feels like kind of the perfect homage to where they are as a group and like the kind
Mm-hmm.
of stuff that they're like putting out versus something like the Saja Boys is like, oh, this is very much like a debut song,
Yeah.
like even when it's like not something you're perfectly familiar with, you can recognize some of the elements of the genre is what I'm saying. Anyways,
It's just so catchy. My
there's
shoulders are bouncing up and down, dear listeners.
I'm
Do, 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 do,
this is a
do,
small
do,
like
do, do,
thing,
do, do.
but something I really enjoyed about like when we're going from like act 2 into act 3 and like
Mhm.
having Rumi embrace this side of her is there's a moment in a lot of Disney movies, and when I think about that, I'm talking about things like Pocahontas and like
Mhm.
Moana, that
Okay.
the main character connects with their mentor when they're feeling really lost in that kind of space
Yeah.
in the whole like the darkest night segment of the story.
Mhm.
I like that this story brings Rumi back to Celine
Mhm.
as she's trying to figure out what to do with herself. And there is not a moment of like clarity or redemption that comes from the mentor because the mentor hasn't earned that. This
Yeah.
entire story, she hasn't presented like, okay, you're feeling this way. Let's talk about that. It's only been like repression, repression, repression. Like, not to go like full Disney is everything animation, but the whole conceal,
No.
don't feel like.
Yeah.
And I think it's important and unique that Rumi finds it within herself to start saying, you've been trying to hold me back from recognizing this. It's time for me to embrace this. And there's no redemptive elements for the repressive mentor.
No, 100%. I think that's a whenever that choice is made, it always ends up being like, and then the mentor was actually the villain the whole time. Where it's like,
Yeah.
no, I think what also we see again implied in this narrative, which also this movie was supposed to be closer to like 2.5 hours,
Hot
three
damn.
hours maybe. There is so much lore and world and storytelling that Maggie Kang had to cut, and Chris as well. Like they've been sitting on some of this for ages. That they
Hmm.
had to trim it down. So there's a lot that hopefully we get to see fleshed out later, or that's just gonna live forever off the cutting room floor and art books and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But one of those pieces is that like the way that that burden, that lineage of tradition through these women is kind of exemplified is like, well, how did we survive before? And what does or doesn't make sense to keep bringing in through the next generation?
Yeah.
Um, because again, I think a lot of kind of to counter the Disney point, a lot of what we've been stuck on is like the family trauma is the villain all along kind of
Yeah.
shit. And it worked a little bit, but this I think goes that step deeper of like the understanding of like, well, yeah, and we kind of see it in Kanto of that like, well, that's what you had to do because of your circumstances, but like this one shows that level of like, yeah, but sometimes they won't
Mhm.
listen. Sometimes you can't connect and you need to find your support elsewhere for people in your life who can and do and will understand what it is that you need to do. Like,
Yeah.
yes, Celine, the idea of hiding and protecting oneself to be safe, to be able to carry on a mission absolutely made sense, for you all those years ago. That doesn't need to continue to be the repetition and the pattern that I sink myself into.
Mhm.
I have people with me who support me and love me, and this does not sit right in my bones. I will make my own path, basically, says Rumi.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think
which
that's
yeah,
important.
carving your own way as the hero. What a concept.
Yeah, I like your perspective on that, in that so many pieces of American animation can be so like family centric and focus on restoring the status quo within the
Yeah.
familial unit, but they've already created, more of a found family, even though it's, it's hard to say it's an organically put together group when like
Right, like,
what
I
what
wanna know
pop
how they
group
got
is organic.
assembled. Yeah, like, how did Celine know to pick all the other 2 to help support Rumi in
Yeah.
this? Like, I want that
Yeah.
backstory.
But anyways, like I think it's an important distinction for the kind of story that's being told here, that it's like
Mhm.
these three together are good enough as a cohesive unit, and it's like you said, your way worked before, but it's time to try it my way, which is what
Mhm.
sets up both Rumi's rebound from everything, and her ability to like basically spark the powder keg that's going to like blow everything up for the demons right when it looked like they're taking over the entirety of like their city. Which, did they specify like what city they're in?
I cannot recall if we ever actually get a specific
Hmm.
name for this. I think presumably it's meant to be, like, Seoul,
Yeah,
I think.
it would make sense.
I do not know. They
Anyways,
specify the like arena and like the stage that the Saja Boys concert is
mhm,
happening at, but I don't know if we're actually told where we are.
yeah, like it sets up the climactic finale where Rumi, having accepted like the things that she cannot change and embracing that, and like doing a little bit of like powering up with that to
Mhm.
like lead the charge, like inspires her bandmates to like break this connection with Chima, who's causing all of these intrusive thoughts and like overwhelming insecurities that they have like on their own, to like sever that connection and start like pushing back against the darkness, even to the point where she inspires Genu to break away as well.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Which I before we get to like the finale,
Yeah.
can we talk about Be Your Idol?
Oh yes, that's true. We should
Oh
talk about
my
that. God
god.
damn, that shit slapped pretty good.
I I put off watching this movie when it came out.
Yeah.
Like, I knew it was coming out because I was like, oh, yeah, that sounds like silly, fun little, like, I was imagining Totally Spies, but like K-pop idols
Sure.
when I heard the title of this. Um, so I didn't watch it right away. My TikTok feed very
Oh
quickly became people doing,
yeah.
cosplay or like lip syncing, or just learning the choreo.
Right.
But it was basically my entire feed was Be Your Idol. It was like, ooh, okay. And I'm only getting like, 20, 30 seconds of the song. I go in and watch the full sequence. I'm like, holy crap. Oh my God, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Like, that convinced me to watch the whole movie.
I do like it because it's kind of like mask off villain song.
It's so unapologetically like exactly mask off villain while still
Mhm.
playing into the like, but it's a K-pop band
Yeah.
and we're the edgy boys. And I'm thinking of like Super Junior. I'm thinking of Shiny, and like all of my K-pop boy groups that I was like obsessed with at 16, all of it came flooding back to me. Suddenly I'm hearing Lucifer and all of these like all of these just mainstay K-pop boy band songs
Mhm.
reflected and refracted in Your Idol.
It is funny, like
And suddenly I was home.
it's funny that like it works as a concert while also like essentially amassing a giant amount of people to
Mhm.
feed and like fully like to feed the demon army and to break the Honmoon,
Yeah.
for that final like barrier crossing with, is it Chima or Gima?
Hema.
Gima,
I
my bad.
might also be soft on my consonant pronunciation.
I did 2 semesters of Korean. I should know this shit. Anyways.
Shame.
I know. But I think that it's important and good that Genu gets his redemption by sacrificing himself and helping.
Oh, my boy.
You gonna be okay, pal?
No.
Okay.
He's too pretty to die.
He really is. God damn, that is a handsome.
He's so
anime
gorgeous.
man. Like that. People are like, well, how come K-pop took over? You can't even understand the lyrics. It's like,
they're all
look at them.
hot.
Look at them. They're like anywhere from 3 to 40 of the most beautiful men you've ever seen in your life, and you are wondering why this worked? That's a very reductive way to look at it, but at the same time.
But it's not incorrect.
Yeah. But like, Genu finally faces his shame for like the bad choices that he's made for the people that he's hurt. Like his whole motivation was to forget all of it so that he didn't actually have to like confront any of this. Like I was saying earlier, like Rumi can't change the things that like brought her shame because they happened, before she was born. But he's a product of his own betrayals and choices that he's made. And I like that he is kind of the turning of the tide with this.
Yeah.
Like I think it's nice, and I think it's just like a good moment. And I'm glad that we have an animated movie that actually kills somebody instead of being like, yeah, here they're back. There you go. No, he did.
Again, no. Here's some nice just villainy moments. We like Your Idol, we get a nice just like good and true villain song that is still in the brand of like a K-pop group, but unapologetically like, down on your knees, I'll be your idol, no one's coming to save you, like just hitting those nails on the head. And then immediately after, kill the villain. No. Characters that want to be redeemed have a chance to be redeemed if they make the right choice. Characters that don't deserve it, who do not seek it, are killed, as should be in narrative when you're talking about morality.
Yes. So like we do get to be able to like put the bow on it of like both of these characters have found their redemption. And I do like that, like you were saying earlier, balancing the silly with the serious. I like that in the middle of all these fights, you still have like Mira and Zoe losing their mind over how hot all of these demon boys are. That
the popcorn gag sent me.
Oh my gosh. Like that when Mira is just like, just kill him. He may have abs, but just kill him.
No more abs!
For like the super serious tough girl to like also be, subjected to the, oh no, he's hot.
He's hot.
I like that. I like that a lot.
100%.
Yeah.
We were talking about silly. I think we've gotten this entire, ride along of the plot without mentioning Bobby.
We haven't. Great performance.
I feel like that is a character like akin in spirit energy to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I mean that as a compliment. That man loves his girls so much, and is like, he would do anything to make sure that like not only that they're taken care of, but it's like we're gonna get them.
Yeah, I like that.
I'm with you guys.
I do like it that he's tempted to like swap to the other side, but it's never out of like malice or betrayal or anything like that. It's just like internal insecurities about things and kind of being like the like fourth musketeer. Like you're not actually like part of this. You just like help it all happen, and you can never know about like all the extracurriculars that we go through.
I absolutely love the joke of the girls are panicking because they can see the Honmoon falling apart.
Yeah.
And Bobby is just so focused on social media numbers about Saja climbing. He's like, you know what? I need to just get off my phone. It's just numbers online. It's not the end of the world. Hard cut. Like, it's so good. Tonally knowing where to make the joke and then where to like let things keep chugging along. The other thing I don't think we've mentioned at all is, again, in this like demon spirit world idea, we also have Derpy, Derpy the tiger.
Yep.
And I don't remember if it actually has a name, but the bird, the magpie,
Six-eyed crow
that
hat.
follows along with him. Believe these are like sort of figures in spirit storytelling, mythos from Korea.
Magpie and the tiger.
The magpie and the tiger.
Which is intentionally given a ridiculous and stupid appearance, hence its nickname, Idiot Tiger.
He's so cute.
Babo
He's
Harangi.
so silly.
Wow, I love that. Like, there's just a culture from like hundreds of years ago was like, this tiger's fucking dumb, and that has persisted.
Couldn't draw cats great, and now it's just a funny joke.
I love that.
Like medieval scribes not knowing what a cat looks like. Here's basically a similar idea, but again, more commentary in subtextual ways. Maggie Kang talked about how like a part of what inspired, the creation of this movie and this universe was, wanting to draw pieces of her Korean heritage and storytelling into the mix. The magpie being a symbol, I believe, in some of the like sort of like a Aesop fable kind of thing, where it's like the magpie and the tiger in the ways that they interact in Korean folklore and heritage, which I do not know off the back of my hand. But the tiger is so often a symbol of royalty, upper echelons, like high status. The magpie is the sort of like, not necessarily the sly fox, but the common man, who kind of sees through the bullshit.
with like the tiny hat.
Well, and that's the thing. The hat is a status symbol. The hat was for the upper class. Like, and there's a bit of contention with cosplay community doing your idol Saja looks when people are like, oh, that's actually significant to this thing and yada yada. There's a very specific practice of making those garments.
Oh, so sort
things
of
like that.
An appropriation discussion.
Kind of. But that hat specifically, having once been, I forget the time period, like year range that it was being worn in imperial court, in high courts, things like that. That like, and again, Genu says, I made it for the tiger, but the bird keeps taking it, is sort of that nod of like, who really holds the power here?
I like the levity
who's
of
really
that.
paying attention.
I like the levity of like incredibly like sexy bad guy is also like, I made a hat.
Right.
I made a hat for my cat.
Why does he have that? Well, I made it for the tiger. And we didn't stop to question that?
No. I think that's, in a weird way, a great example of what works so well about this movie, in that it never goes overboard with being too silly or too serious. Like, it works because of the restrictions that it places upon itself. Like, I like that it allows characters, even like the really serious ones, like our two main characters, to have those moments of silliness and levity. Like the dumb silly like moment that you had posted a gif of at one point or another, where the three girls are all doing like the screaming faces and everything.
They're trying to get hype, and they're just like, give me your war face to each other, basically.
It never
It's
feels
so
like it's too
good.
much for any of it.
No, well, and I think one of the things I wanted to make sure we mentioned before we kind of like close it down is just stylistically, again, Sony does very good due diligence about, again, we've seen with Spider-Verse, they understand how to like isolate different components, whether that is gesture, movement, expression, like finding those places where some piece is more exaggerated in a moment and then pulls back into, some more cohesive with the rest of the world, or this face or these characters are animated in what frame rate, which is different than whatever else, which creates that dissonance. They know that technically. We all know that is what they do technically, and they're very good at it. But this movie so very deliberately goes, we're borrowing anime, but we're not doing true anime, but we love the exaggeration and that emotional range and goofiness, like heightened state that you get to for the most mundane things sometimes.
Yeah. Like I like that it allows its characters to be imperfect in an industry and in a culture that is often so driven towards perfection.
Yeah.
Like and there's a quote where the creator was saying like, yeah, sometimes we just need to let our characters go a little crazy on like a ton of food, have like a pot belly, like burp loudly.
Yeah.
The sort of things that like are not seen as acceptable for your real cool character, whether it's like a K-pop like member or something, or as she mentioned, like something like American like Marvel like female
Hmm.
leads and everything. Could you ever imagine the bros behind Marvel just being like, yeah, and then at that point, Black Widow walks out in some like checkered and plaid like pajama pants, and she's just got like 5 bags of chips under, and she's just gonna hit the couch for a while. Like the closest we ever got to
Right.
that is like a peanut butter sandwich. Here's your crumbs, peasants. This is all you get for
Right.
relatability.
Or then the one time we do that with a character, it's a fat joke and
Yeah.
it's just kind of sad and depressive.
Yeah.
Sorry, Thor.
Sorry, Thor.
And similarly in the levity thing, I'm thinking, I don't think we mentioned this in one of the first moments where Rumi and Ginu are trying to like, again, she's still skeptical, but he's trying to like have a discussion with her. She's out in her pajamas and he's like, are those choo-choo trains? Are those trains in your pajama pants? And like again, here's our anti-hero villain-ish character
Yeah.
being like PJs. Like
And she's like, yeah, I'll still
it's
kick your ass in them. Choo choo, I'm running you over, bitch.
right. Like just these little silly again, very anime. It's
Mm.
so very stylistically anime, which again, Japanese, not Korean, but like it's these pieces of that allow for these little jokey moments in between and helping breathe between some of the more emotional or the sad or the tense
Mhm.
or the fighting or the what have you states of
Yeah.
heightened things are happening. I guess is there anything that you've been dying to say or touch on or anything, or even in relation to Oscars, because this movie is up for Best Animated Feature this year.
It is. I don't know that much about the rest of the field, if we're being honest here.
Sure.
I think it's got the push, and now that like Sony has broken through like the Disney barricade and has
Mm-hmm.
snagged their Oscar and everything, I don't think it would be unexpected for this to win. And
Yeah.
I'm no expert on the Oscars or anything like that anymore, but I
You
feel
used to be and now you're not.
no, truly, like I used to care
Oh.
so much
Oh.
about it. And honestly, I got the win for Parasite, and I was like, I can check out for a while. Like, I got what I wanted out of this. Like, nothing's gonna peak like this for a while. Uh,
I never meant to brag, but I got what I
I
wanted now.
am Haley Williams, but I have a feeling that this will win it, and I
Mm-hmm.
think it deserves it because even though this is not something that is made for me, I really appreciate the way that everything weaves together and the story that they want to tell, and the fact that it is so unique aesthetically, and that
Mm-hmm.
it's a story that's really told from the heart. And I think that authenticity is just what makes it such a successful piece.
Yeah. And I think I've harped on this a few other episodes about, you know, foolish decisions by the more executive production line of things rather than producers like on the film itself.
Mhm.
Um K-pop Demon Hunters is Sony, but
Mm.
it got distributed to Netflix directly. Funny thing that this movie, from basically everyone's understandings and recounting of events, kind of got put in a mild production hell.
Fun.
I think the idea for this lingered beforehand, but it didn't enter production until 2021. Where I believe, oh goodness, I know Chris was working on the Wish Dragon at some point when he and Maggie Kang like kind of started talking ideas about this. But, entered production hell, took a while to get there, and then even still with such strong, like, yeah, we've spent time on this. We have like worlds and worlds of ideas to bake into this story here, for it to still kind of get relegated into such a place of, but it's too weird.
Huh.
It seems too niche.
Yeah.
Let's just send it over to the streamer and it'll get out, it'll be a thing, but we don't have to, why are we going to do a theatrical release of this? And I'm sure they are kicking themselves for the amount of like money lost that is now just gone to Netflix, which is also its own fucking issue. But I digress. I wish, and I don't think it will be, but I wish this movie could stand as a testament to like, if you actually have people who know what they're doing, we don't have to rely on the investors want number that say people know things, so there's a better chance of them seeing thing. Because that's why we keep getting caught in this cycle of movies that are based on books that are fan fictions based on a TV show or a different movie or whatever. But all these things predicated on somebody hoping that because it's familiar IP or it's been successful elsewhere, it'll be successful here, as opposed to here's an original story based on old ideas, storytelling, culture, but original, but well thought through, running home with success. And hopefully, fingers crossed, knock on wood, building up its own franchise. I believe there's 1 or 2 more movies that have been greenlit, or other projects sort of greenlit to come after this.
I know nothing about this, and I can confidently say they will make more of this.
But I think that's the thing that I hope, as silly as it sounds, K-pop demon hunters, I truly hope that this is one of these. You look at the best animated category this year, a lot of these movies are all sort of like indie or international studios, which is fantastic to see. I love that. Love that the only other title I recognize is Zootopia 2.
Yeah.
Sad I haven't watched any of the others, but that's on me.
Yeah, little indie studio called Pixar with their contribution Elio. Yeah. We've never heard of that one before.
No, that one did kind of go under the, purposefully marketing sabotage, go under the radar, because God forbid we talk about, anything to do with queerness or disability or, white other than whiteness identity, heaven forbid.
Anyway.
But no, I do hope this begins more of the ripple of actually we can gamble on original storytelling, and it works when you have people who know what they're doing, who have good ideas.
Let us hope. Any final thoughts before we close out?
Go watch K-pop Demon Hunters if you haven't already. If you haven't already been subjected to the soundtrack over and over again, go listen to it. They're all damn good songs.
You're going up, up, up.
All right. Do you take the closeout? I did the opening.
No,
you gotta do some of the work around here while Bo's gone.
No. Whoever does the opening also does the closeout.
Shit, I guess you're right.
Finish strong. Take us home.
Thank you so much for tuning in, listeners. I'll put my NPR voice on for this one.
Hell yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us, dear listeners. This has been the Liberal Artist Podcast. If you have enjoyed this episode, please consider giving us a like, subscribe, keep an eye out for more content coming to you soon on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your podcast. Truly, even YouTube, where you can also like us, comment on our videos, subscribe to us there, all the good stuff. You can find our socials at LibArtistPod on Instagram and TikTok. we'll see you over there. Hopefully get a little bit more traction going. We got some fun stuff for you. So tune in next time when we put our own girl group together and we team up to seal the Honmoon.
I'm the pretty one.
Peace.
The Liberal Artists Podcast premieres every other Thursday on your favorite podcasting platform. The show is hosted by Bodio, Kaylie Horowitz, and Andy Gibson. You can find the show at LiberArtistsPod on Instagram and Twitter. Thanks to White Hot for performing the theme song Reflect, which can be found on freebeats.io. Now, I'm off to go exploring, and maybe, just maybe, I'll find a sheep that I can call my own. Good day.
You may think that... You may think that when you analyze the three of us and then compare us to Huntrix, that Bo's Mira. Not so. Bo's clearly Rumi, and I'm Mira, and you're Zoe.
See, I was gonna say, does that mean you're Zoe and I'm Mira?
Oh, you're so not a Mira. Like, no, you may be a redhead, but that's not how it's happening here. You can go back to, like, episode 3 of this goddamn show and listen to my Lucario rant and tell me that I'm not a Mira.
So, in other words, I get to, put our fanships together.
Oh, Christ. The Pandora's box I've just opened.
Yeah, so we have because Mira's in the fan-assigned polycule of Abby and Mystery. And Zoe is with, no. Where does baby, no. Oh no, I'm forgetting my ships outside of Rumi and Genu because no one else matters.
You don't even know where the damn harbor is for all of these ships.
We're lost out at sea. I haven't seen a harbor in ages. We're getting scurvy out here. Please help.
How can we run our fanfic polycule if we don't have vitamin C?
Vitamin D,
None of these words have been in the Bible.
None of these words are in the Bible.
Christ. All right, I'm stopping.